Hi, I'm Dr. Pat. I'd like to take this time to thank all of you that were a part of helping to support South Sudan. We're still very much in the very midst of that project. As we shared, the famine is between December and March. And if you've been keeping up with the news, you know that they've shut down Americans for being able to get visas to go into South Sudan right now because the fighting has completely begun to break out again. So we have till March. We're still beating the peak of the famine in March. However, we've had a mission that was on our calendar since last year, not knowing, there's no way we could have ever known that our Turkey and France mission, which preceded our South Sudan Phase 2, there could have ever been a time where the explosions with the bombings at Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, Turkey, and then the recent attack of the journalist there in Paris, France. And then for those of you, whatever time you're watching today, there's been 2 Israelis that have been held hostage in France as well. In the midst of a high alert red zone time, our team is packed up and ready to go. We're counting down the days now, and disaster relief and responding and being first responders to disaster and terror is what we've been called to do. I prayed perhaps one of the most lethal prayers any believer could ever pray. I asked the Lord, send me to where you need me the most. And so as he would have it, his light needs to shine in France right now. His light needs to shine in Turkey right now. Let me share a little bit with you about the Turkey mission. The surrounding countries of Turkey, Turkey is the only country, which is the headquarters of Paul the Apostle, is the only country that borders 2 continents. 2 continents, Asia and Europe. So Paul used that as his launching pad for the gospel. There in Turkey is Cappadocia, Galatia, Ephesus, Antioch, and it is the gateway into the Middle East. The surrounding Persian Gulf countries are Iraq, Iran, Syria, Armenia, Azerbaijan. These are all the Persian Gulf countries that surround, which many of them are very strong, radical Islamic Sharia law countries. But Turkey is now still the safest place that we can go in and train our national leaders in these surrounding countries. For years, we used to train in Turkey. We had a module there, and they would come across the border, and we would train them at our Global Leadership Training Center module and deploy them back to their countries. But now, with all of the persecution of the Christians in northern Iraq, for those of you that have heard the name ISIS, ISIS stands for, in case you didn't know, Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. So in the northern part of Iraq, it's called Mosul. Mosul was in the Bible, it was Nineveh, and the very same region is Ur of the Chaldeans. It is actually the birthplace of Abraham. The reason why Jonah never wanted to go to Nineveh, because they were always a very stiff-necked and rebellious people. Those are the people in the region of ISIS in that area. And they've slaughtered and killed and beheaded, crucifying alive, burning churches, so many Christians. 700,000 people from northern Iraq and Syria and Armenia and Iran have fled into the streets of Turkey to take refuge and safety. Deuteronomy 26:11 in the institution of the tithes teaches this. The tithe is allocated for the upkeep of the temple, for the Levite, for the widow, for the orphan, but also for the refugee. We're going in with a team of believers to respond and minister to hundreds of believers that are on the streets, Christian believers that have been left displaced and homeless simply because they refuse to convert. The threat of ISIS is convert to Islam or die. When you go to our website and Facebook, you'll see images, literally hard graphic images of 3 and 4 and 5-year-old kids that have been beheaded because they refuse to convert, and men that have been crucified alive, and entire families crucified in the center of town. So it was already our mission. It was our next phase of our first year outreach along with South Sudan, and we need your help just like you responded to South Sudan. This is a new year. This is a new mission. So basically, both missions are going to be paralleling at the same time. Thank God for the type of team that I have that are ready at in the brink of a moment to stop and to go in. However, this trip was already planned. I need you to understand this. France and Turkey and Sudan are the 3 hottest spots for alert spots with the travel advisory warnings, and yet these are the 3 areas of our projects. We need your prayers, we need your intercessors to cover us, and we need your support. What are we going to be doing in Turkey? I'm glad you wanted to know. It is the winter in Turkey right now. So blankets, you can see that it's freezing there for those who are displaced and homeless, but they need blankets, they need food, they need shelter. Also, while we're there, we're going to be training leaders. We're taking in a team of pastors with us. There's about 15 of us that are going to be going. We're taking in youth leaders that are going to be working with the youth, teens, and young adults. We're taking in pastors that are going to be ministering to the pastors and to leaders, women that are in ministry, men that are in ministry, and I will be setting up Global Leadership Training Center modules while we're there and getting the curriculum to the people, just like we did in South Sudan, because we don't know how long Turkey is going to be open. Even with the bombings and with the killings that have been in France and the bombings in Hagia Sophia in Turkey and Istanbul, we are still going, and we need your help and we need your support for any amount of supporting us, because it's such an urgent need and we must move fast. We would like to give a love gift to you upon our return as we give an updated on-location video so you can always see where your money is gone. We're asking for an urgent appeal and for you to move very quickly. Any amount in donation will be greatly appreciated because we need all the help we can get. For an example, our nationals in the surrounding areas, they're refugees, so they don't have the money to come into the center places that we're going to be ministering. Like we'll be in Istanbul, we'll be in the south, we're in different locations in the entire country. We have to bring them in, fly them in, house them, and feed them. And they're going to be leaders that we're training. So when you sow this seed, you will have an opportunity to not only just see the news, but be a part of transforming the news. We'll become history makers and world changers. I can't thank you enough for your support and your help. And may I do this as a bit of a disclaimer and to explain. Many people say that the pictures are so graphic, but I always said this, and we said the same thing with South Sudan. They may be statistics to you, and they may be graphic or horrific pictures to you, but in the lives of the family members, it is reality to them. I need you to really saturate that. So don't avert your eyes and don't turn a deaf ear. It's hard, it's brutal, it's horrific, it's morbid, but it's reality. And that's what we've been called to. In the Western world, we've been so used to living a life at ease that when we bring the reality of the world, that's the role of Master Touch Ministries, to keep your finger on the pulse of God and to keep the church on a cutting edge and to wake up the sleeping giant so that we can advance the kingdom of God. I will be awaiting your urgent and favorable support like you helped us in South Sudan. This is Dr. Pat Bailey. Thank you, and God bless you.